It's time to start on the plumbing. Hey everybody, I'm Bill with Live Simple, Live Free, and this little addition that we're putting on our house has a half bath in it, and it has a utility sink. And so it's time for me to start with the plumbing. Now let me rudely interrupt myself here and explain a little bit about what's going on here, especially for subscribers that may be new to the channel within the past 6 months. See, we have this addition right here. This is the house that we live in, okay? We have this addition right here that I've been working on for, seems like forever. And I actually pulled off of this project when we purchased the renovation flip house. And for the past 5 months, I've been working on that house, and this has just stood idle. I haven't been doing anything to it. And I know a lot of you have been asking, when are you going to get back to your own addition? Well, here it is. Now that I'm finished with the renovation house, the flip house, I can get back to finishing this addition. I'm really excited to be able to get this done. Now, I started this video 3 months ago, and what was happening was I'd come home from working on the renovation house totally exhausted, and I just collapsed on the couch. But every once in a while I would come home with a little bit of energy, and so I'd work on the plumbing for about an hour, and it took me like 2 months to finish the plumbing job that should have only taken me a day and a half, because I only worked an hour at a time after I got home in the evening. But so that's just kind of sets up this video and what it is that this video has taken the past several months to make, and it's on our house, not on the renovation house. Now I'm going to be starting with the drain first. It's easier to run the small supply lines around the drain after the drain's in place. It's hard to run the big drain around things, so I'll start with the drain first using PVC. Now when you do drain line, you always want to start at the end where the appliance is, where the fixture is, and run it from there towards the main sewer line so that you can make sure that it's running downhill so that things drain properly. If you start at the main sewer line and run it the other way, you might get to the place where you have to hook up the fixture and find out that your drain pipe is too high, so you don't want to do that. So I'm going to be starting with the toilet flange here in the half bath in the utility room. So this is the half bath. The toilet's going right there, and there's my helper. So this is where the toilet's going in the half bath here. I went down underneath to check and make sure that I wasn't going to have a problem with running into a joist. So right here is the floor joist. The next one is over here. And when I measure centered, that's right here. So I'm not going to have any problem with that floor joist. This is a thing that's going to go there, and the joist is out here. Now a toilet flange should be set 1 foot from the wall, out from the wall, but I have to put 1/2 inch sheetrock here. So I measured 12.5 inches out to the center. That's the center. Now I wish I had a hole saw. Could just pop through there, it'd be nice and easy. But that's actually this, and it's got to be even bigger because it's got to cover this. So to get a hole saw that big, it's probably 50 bucks. And I would only use it this one time, so I'm not going to do that. I'm going to just use a saber saw instead. But I have to come out a little bit further to make sure that I cover this flange right here. Hey. You're in my way. Hey. Hey. Okay, now that should be big enough to cover that extra little flange. If it comes out where it's not completely round, it's not going to matter because it's going to be covered with this, and that's going to be covered with the toilet. You'll never even know it. As long as it's big enough for this to actually fit. As soon as I turn on the first power tool, Leo runs for the hills. He's a scaredy cat. Now I got a big thickness to cut through here because I have 3/4 inch plywood down, 3/4 inch OSB down underneath, and then I think this is 5/8 inch plywood on top. So I've got a fair amount of wood to cut through here. Alright, that'll work. So now we got to screw it down. We want to make sure that it's oriented right for the toilet bolts. The toilet bolt will go in there and then slide over to here. So we want to position it about like this. So the toilet bolts, when they're finished, will be right perpendicular to the, parallel to the straight, what's the word? Anyway, one on each side right there. So we want to position it just about like that. Center it in the hole as best I can. Screw it down. Oh, just dropped a screw down the toilet. There's no pipe attached, so it just fell through. This is going to be hard to film because almost the entire project is down in the crawl space, crawling on my belly. I don't know how I'm going to film it, but I'll do my best. So there's the underside of the toilet flange. It's got to go on there like that. And then on the other side of this wall is the main part of the house. So the pipe's got to go that way and then turn down and go into the main part of the house where the main sewer drain is that goes out to the septic tank. So I've already got this piece glued. So now I have to put on the purple primer. And then the glue goes on there. Goes in here. Once you press that glue on, press the fitting together, you got about 5 seconds to adjust it, and then it locks up and you can't move it anymore. Alright, so now I got to go underneath of the main part of the house. Okay. It's going to look just like that. put this on here. It's not glued yet. I want to put it on there just to make sure I get this angle right, make sure it's running downhill. Now, I have just a few seconds to get the angle right. Press it on. Okay. That's it. It's stuck. It's not dry yet. It needs to cure for a while, but at this point it won't move anymore. For right now, this was just staying right here. But as soon as I would put the next piece of pipe in, which is a 10-foot length, the weight would make this sag. So I had to nail it up here before I put the weight on here. And I go to use these pipe hangers down here further. So this will be the hookups, the plumbing hookup for the washer and dryer unit. Got to run a drain and then the hot and cold supply line. Okay, so what is all of this mess? This box and this box are both going to be recessed into the wall. This is for the washer. This is where the drain, you hook the drain, and then the two supply lines for the hot and cold water will come up through here, and I'll hook the hoses there. This has a cap in here so that I can do the pressure testing on this. Once that's passed, then you just use a screwdriver and pry that out of there. Now this one right here is a vent. You can actually take the vent and run it all the way up through the roof, but I don't like to put holes in the roof if I can help it, because every hole in the roof is a potential leak. So they now have these interior vents. This is a valve, a vent valve. It'll let air in, but it won't let air out. And this has a little screw-on cap that you can put in for the pressure test. And then once that's done, you just screw this in there. And then every time water goes down there, it needs to have air coming in, or else it won't drain properly. So that'll let air in, but it won't let the air back out again. So I really like these. They're relatively new compared to when I started doing plumbing when I was a kid. Back then, everything had to go through the roof, but now these are much more efficient and beneficial. You can put on one of these underneath of every sink if you want, instead of putting it up through the roof. So I still got to run the supply line over here. Now, because this is flexible, you don't have to put in all those elbows and all that, but you do still have to connect them together. Unless you want to buy them in a 100-foot roll, which I did not do. I don't need that much. So I bought them in 10-foot pieces, and I have to connect them with this coupling. So this takes a special tool to do this. I have this crimping ring here. Slide that on there. Put the coupling in. And then I have this crimping tool that's specially made for this. This is for 1/2 inch pipe. You have to get a different one for a 3/4 inch pipe. Just put that right there on the ring. And crimp it shut. And that makes a watertight seal right there. So then I have to do it also on the other side. So here's the other piece. Put the ring on, put it on the coupling. And then crimp it. So there's the crimp, 2 crimpets. I always have some kind of a joke in my head going around about when I'm doing this about tea and crimpets or something, I don't know. It's dumb, I can never quite put it together. Anyway, so now I got to do the other side. This blue, of course, is the cold water, red is the hot water. So now I have both of these crimp joints done. By the way, I'm down here in the crawl space with very little room. Laying on my back, getting these pipes run and on that way. Okay, so now I've got these 1/2 inch pipes coming in, going into this manifold right here, and that'll be fed by a 3/4 inch pipe right there. Now to cut this pipe, you use this tool, which is basically just a pair of scissors, but it's designed for the pipe. I'm going to put a valve, shut-off valve in right here. So all I do is just cut it off. Now the crimping tool that I have been using is the old style. When they first came out with PEX, that's the tool that they had, and of course, because since I haven't done this work in about 10 years, I've got all the old stuff. The problem with that was that the handles were so long that you couldn't get into tight spots. Since then, they've come up with a completely different system. This is the tool. It's a ratchet tool, and it's much shorter, and it's easier to get into tight spots. And it uses a ring that looks like this, which is very different. And so this is better because you can get into tight spots, but also it takes a special tool, but this can be removed. The old style crimping rings that I was using for the rest of this, once you put them on, they can't be removed anymore. So I just put that on there and then crimp it. And it's done. Okay, so this is the new pipe. This is the cold. I need to cut it into here, put a T right there. The colors don't really matter. It's all the same type of pipe. It's just that the color, generally blue is cold and red is hot. The white you can use for anything. This white is the existing line. It was already there. I don't know why white was used, but at any rate, I'll be cutting, and this is the cold supply line. So I'll be cutting this in right here. So I got this valve turned off for the new pipe. And when I cut this, there's going to be some water coming out. I have the water turned off, but I'm sure there's some water in there. Right there. I got a bucket here to catch it. There's a couple of things that I really like about this system compared to the older systems. If I was doing copper and I'm trying to solder it, if there's any water left in the pipe at all and it runs down into my solder joint, it makes it cold again. Solder doesn't seal properly, and then I have a joint that's soldered but it leaks because of the water in it. Same thing with the old CPVC pipe. If I'm gluing it and some water runs down while I'm doing it, then it's going to leak. But with this system, it doesn't matter. If there's water there, it's still going to seal without any problems, and I really like that. Okay, so now the cold is all hooked up and ready to go. I'm not going to turn it on because I don't want water in here, because I have to put a pressure test on it for the inspection. So now I have to hook up the hot. Okay, this looks like total spaghetti, but I know what I got here because I'm tying into the old system that was already not organized. But I have it all tied in now. I got these are the two valves that go to the new section. I got those turned off because I don't want water in there yet until after I get the pressure test done. So I'll turn on the main water here and check this section and make sure there's no leaks. Whoa. Yeah, okay. That was wet. I don't know if you saw what happened there. I forgot to make this connection in the hot water. I turned it on and the water came all over my back. Whoa. At least it was hot water. Yeah, I completely forgot this connection right here. Okay. Let's try this again. I'm going to stay out of the way this time. I hear the water running through the pipes. And I see no leaks. So I'll come back down here in 15 minutes or so, check it all, make sure there are no leaks in the new system. All right, we're good to go. So I'm now caught up to real time again, and I'm really excited to be able to be getting this addition moving again. So over here for the washer, I've got the supply lines coming in there. This is the plumbing for the utility sink. Got the supply lines there, hot and cold, and the drain. This goes up to another one of those vents. And then over here is the supply for the toilet right there. Now I do have to get an inspection, and in order to do that, you gotta, this is a valve like on a tire, and then you use the air compressor to blow it up. I gotta have 60 psi, and it has to hold 60 psi while the inspector is here to make sure there isn't going to be any leaks. And so I had the inspector here a couple of days ago, and everything passed, and I'm so glad. So now I'm excited because I'm ready to start on the sheetrock. I'm ready to start flying on this thing. It's just the sheetrock, finishing the sheetrock, the paint, and the moldings, and I'll be done. So, whew, let's get going. I hope you're enjoying this. Thanks for watching. Live simple, live free. You be blessed. We'll see you in the next video.